Okay guys, so I'm finally able to get out and test out the new Daiwa Alphas Air TW. And we're not going to beat around the bush. We're going to put it through its toughest test first, and that is to see if this reel can do what Daiwa claims and handle a 1 gram lure pretty easily. And the 1 gram lure I'm going to use is going to be the Bear Trout Magnet. Now on the scale, these trout magnets weigh just under 1 gram, so close enough. But yeah, we're going to see if Daiwa's theory that making a very, very small spool versus a very, very lightweight spool will increase performance enough to be able to handle such a light lure. Now, before we start casting around this Alphas, of course we have to have a benchmark setting. And I brought out the Ultimate Bait Finesse Combo Aldebaran. And of course it's mounted on the Queen TTC 510S. And this is probably the only rod that I have that can actually load up a trout magnet. Now it's got a rating of 0.3 grams to 3 grams. And I have both of these reels spooled up with 2-pound trout magnet mono. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast around this Aldebaran for a little bit and show you guys what this thing can do. And that'll give us a baseline of what the Alphas Air is going to have to contend with. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast around the Ultimate BFS Aldebaran for a few minutes and kind of let you guys see where the trout magnet is landing. Hopefully you'll be able to see this thing splash on the water out there. And try to keep a mental picture of how far this thing is going. And let's begin. Now, first of all, I have the spool tension set to just minimize the side-to-side play. FTB brake dial set to 4. And here we go. That's probably going out there close to 40 feet. I'm doing a sidearm cast and the wind is literally all over the place. And with the lure this small, just a slight bit of wind will cause a blow up. Yep, had a little bit of overrun there because there was a slight wind coming in, but hopefully you guys can see where this trout magnet is landing. But the goal was to be able to cast this trout magnet 30 feet when I put this reel and rod combo together. And I greatly exceeded that, and we were hitting like somewhere close to 50 feet in measure testing. I think I'm gonna have to turn the brakes up a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna go to 4.25, I guess 4 1/4 on the brakes. All right, that solved the problem. Distance is about the same, probably a little bit over 40 feet. Now with this combo, while it can cast out this trout magnet, it does require a very forceful cast, especially to be accurate. You can't really just lob this super lightweight lure out there. So for a lot of you guys who are new to my channel and you are amazed at the fact that a trout magnet can be casted with a bait caster, check out my Ultimate BFS playlist where I show you step by step how to put this rod and reel combo together, and I actually show you guys some fishing footage. But yeah, it is possible to do so. We do a few more casts. Now this spool weighs, I believe, around 4.2 to 4.3 grams. And if you recall, the Alphas Air spool, while it's much smaller in diameter, it's also about 2 grams heavier, and that is a lot in bait finesse terms. Okay, one more cast. All right, let me see if I can actually catch a little fish. There's a lot of little sunfish in here. Yep, here we go. It's a little, what is that, a creek chub? It is fat too. Looks like it has like 2 bellies. So it might be pregnant. Fat creek chub on the ultimate bait finesse combo. All right, I want to catch one more fish. I don't see any bass in here, but I do see a bunch of little panfish. And unfortunately, some jackass caught a bunch of little panfish and left them for dead on the shore. Yep, little taps there. Oh. What is this? I'm not sure what kind of fish this is. This is a green sunfish. Got some weird black spots on it. I could literally sit here and just catch fish cast after cast, but we have a reel to test. Okay, so let me put the Alphas Air on this rod and let's see what happens. Okay guys, a moment of truth for this Alphas Air, and I have the trout magnet tied on, no snap swivel, spool tension set just like it was from the factory, and I've actually spooled this Alphas up for success. And what I mean by that is that I didn't even fill the spool halfway. Hopefully you guys can see that. And this is how I would probably normally fish a BFS reel, because the Alphas Air spool is actually kind of deep for a bait finesse reel, and this lure is not going to go out that far, as you can see, so you really don't need all that line. And I am going to set the brakes to the maximum position first. And yeah, these numbers on this brake dial are hard to see. It lets you angle them just right. But okay. Now before we start casting, I will say that I have seen some Japanese YouTubers casting what look to be 0.8 gram lures. And in American, that's 1/32 of an ounce. Now they were using braid, and they were using this JDM rod that I'm looking to try to buy, but they seem to be sold out everywhere. And they also seem to have filled the spool only halfway. And it was handling that lure very, very easily, probably going out there, you know, it wasn't far, maybe like 10 yards. So let's go. All right, casting is really quiet. That thing went out there probably 10 feet on max brakes. All right, so I adjusted my release point so the lure would land in front of me. Now, if you guys recall, for a lot of you people who have subscribed to me for a while, I was able to cast this lure with a Abu Garcia REVO LTX BF8, but it was very inconsistent. All right, so far so good with the brakes turned up to maximum. It's easily controlling the spool for this teeny tiny lure. So let's start backing these brakes down. Let's go down to 18. Now, as expected, this reel is whisper quiet, but going down to 18 didn't really net us any kind of distance increase. I see a turtle eyeballing me. Let's go down to 16. All right, maybe a little bit of distance increase, maybe like a foot or two. Now, of course, these brakes are extremely strong as it is sporting the air rotor. And I guess people at this pond usually feed these turtles because he's coming up on me like he wants some food. I don't know if you guys can see this guy. About to pop his head out. I don't have any food. Okay, so let's go down to 14. Yep, 14. Now luckily the Alphas has that white dot to let you know what brake setting you're on. All right, distance went up. The spool is still very, very controlled. I'm gonna do one more cast and let you guys check the spool out. Distance went up probably like a foot. So we're gonna go down to 12 on the brake dial. All right, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So I'm thinking I'm hitting over the 30-foot mark with this Alphas. Spool is still very controlled, so very, very impressive. Accuracy is just about the same as the Ultimate BFS Aldebaran. Yeah, so this is with the brakes on 12. We're probably hitting like 30 to 32 feet. So let's keep backing these brakes down. We're gonna go to 10. That was actually on 11. Okay, so we're on 10 now. Wow, it's getting pretty close to that Aldebaran. Pretty close. Spool is still very controlled. I can whip this out there as hard as I want, and it just goes out there, and I don't have to worry about the spool blowing up. All right, so far I am very, very impressed with this stock out of the box Alphas. So let's go down even more. Let's go down one click to 9. All right, so right there, I believe we are matching the distance of the Ultimate BFS Aldebaran, and I am blown away. Yep, that is definitely matching the distance of the Ultimate BFS Aldebaran. Let's try overhead cast. That's something that this rod doesn't like. Yep, easily handles an overhead cast. Let's go down even more. Let's go down to 8. Okay, I'm seeing some overrun there. So I believe 9 is going to be the limit if you want just pretty much stress-free casting. So that's about halfway of the breaking range. So I have a fish. Yep, have a fish on. Man, he is fat too. So the first fish on the Alphas Air TW. Alright guys, so far I am blown away. Now will it perform like this with the spool filled up all the way? Probably not, but like I said, I'm going to cast this out there one more time and show you how much line is left. Alright, so I didn't whip it out there quite as far, so the overrun went away, but this is how much line is left after that cast. The reel is smooth as glass as well. So let's go down to 7, and we'll just do, you know, just an easy stroke. Okay, so the lower you go on the brakes, I guess the less force you'll want to put in. But it looks to me like it's definitely matching that ultimate BFS Aldebaran. And we can even go lower on the brakes, it looks like. We're going to go to 6. Alright, there we go. I think we're at the limit there. Oh, we got another fish. Now, these all appear to be, I guess, green sunfish. And he's got some crap on him. Alright guys, so I'm gonna turn the brakes back up to 7, and we're just gonna cast around and let you guys get a good view of this reel's capabilities. Daiwa has done it. Their theory that by drastically reducing the spool size versus spool weight will improve super lightweight lure castability is spot on. This is matching the distance. But we're going to go up 1 click. And ease of casting is probably better than that ultimate Aldebaran BFS. I can kind of just lob this lure out there. Okay guys, so it looks like Daiwa's theory of drastically reducing the spool size versus spool weight has paid off. And I'm going to say that the casting of this 0.9 gram trout magnet, the distance is going to be about the same as the Aldebaran, but the ease of casting is superior. With the Aldebaran, I kind of have to force that cast out there. Now with this Alphas, I can just kind of do a, you know, 75%, 80% cast, and the distance and accuracy are still good. And that was what I was going for. So I'm not putting a full swing into these casts, and this little trout magnet is just going out there pretty easily. And I believe that is what Daiwa was going for. Had a little blow up there. I think there was a wind coming in. So yeah, this little reel is definitely a revelation. A stock bait finesse reel casting a 0.9 gram trout magnet easily with accuracy. And it makes you wonder, what is Shimano and Daiwa going to do to counter this thing? Because in order for a Shimano reel to match this kind of performance, you have to spend, you know, either that $300 or $400 for the Aldebaran or the Conquest. Then you have to spend that extra $110 for that avail spool, and then the $8 to $10 for those magnets, and then you know, you got your optional hybrid ceramic bearings that'll add another, you know, 20 bucks. Or you can just buy this stock Alphas Air TW and do this. Now granted, not everybody is going to be throwing a TROUT magnet on a bait caster. Probably very few people. I'm one of those crazy guys that wants to do it. But if you do, this is the way to go. And like I said, hopefully Shimano Japan is watching this, and hopefully they will come up with some kind of response to counter this. Because when companies compete, the consumers win. All right guys, there we go. Looks like we have a new ultimate bait finesse reel, and it is a stock Daiwa Alphas Air TW.